as always, huge shout outs to Abdullah, Titan, Palms, Tyler, Cozy, Rare Omen, JPK, Supreme, Uncle, AG Snipes, and AG Twitch, Snoot, Graham, Abadi, Grim, Running the Train, and Leon. Huge shout out to all you guys. I do appreciate you guys. Thank you immensely for all your support over the last few months. It means the world to me. And also a special shout out to Tyler and Abdullah for the 50 bombs. I greatly appreciate that too. Truly, I am a blessed content creator for my amazing community. I cannot thank you guys enough. And yeah, let's get right into the video. Yo, what you guys doing? It's your boy Basely. Ignore the time in the bottom right corner. I may or may not be recording this video at 1 o'clock in the morning because I have hashtag gamer sleep schedule. But nah, this video, I've been meaning to make this follow-up video for a while. And I have just sat around long enough, got the stuff I needed to essentially finish this. If you haven't watched this video, I'm going to link it in the description. I'm going to make a lot of references to that video. So if you've not seen the first video, please go watch that video. But this is essentially the entire history of skill-based matchmaking part 2. So in the previous video, I covered the first 8 games, which I guess I can give you a TLDR of that video, but I'm not going to go anywhere near in depth. So if you want the receipts, if you want the proof, if you want, the hard stuff to validate my claims, go watch that video. But this is essentially the chart I made. Again, this is not 100% perfect. I don't work for Treyarch. I don't work for Activision. I don't work for Sledgehammer. I don't work for anyone in Call of Duty. This is just a general timeline, if you will. Obviously, I might be wrong by like a game or two. Maybe one game should go up a category, one game should go below a category. But it's semantics, right? This is generally the timeline for COD. As we know from the devs that worked on BO2, Vandahar specifically, in BO2, Vandahar had an exclusive interview with, I think it was Gamer Rant. I forget the website, but they were interviewing people for BO2. Vandahar was talking about a brand new system, which was the TSM system. TSMM stands for True Skill Matchmaking. Essentially, True Skill Matchmaking, or TSMM, was a system that matched players based off a skill rating, and if you had a similar skill rating, you would play each other. That was a precursor to what would eventually become skill-based matchmaking, and then that would eventually evolve into EOMM, or Engagement Optimized Matchmaking. So again, I'm gonna make a lot of references to the first video if you've not seen it. I think I've quadrupled in size since my previous video, so there's a good chance most of my newer audience hasn't seen it, but go watch that video. Essentially, in that interview, Vandahar and others were flexing their new matchmaking system. And the person who was, I forget the gentleman's name, but the guy who was interviewing him essentially asked why BO2, and long story short, Vandahar and others said the first 8 CODs, which you can see in the top part of this little picture I drew or made, which, again, I'm not very creative, so I'm sure there's artistic people out there who could have made this vibrant and beautiful. I'm not. One of the things God didn't bless me with. Anyways, the first 8 games I have it mapped out for you guys, from Call of Duty 1 all the way to Modern Warfare 3. 0 matchmaking algorithm. I should probably put a caveat there. 0 matchmaking algorithm. Obviously, there was matchmaking in the games, but there wasn't a manipulative, algorithm that paired bad players with good play. No. The first 8 CODs, again, from the devs' mouth themselves, there was nothing. So for all of those people like 402 Thunder, for Nero Cinema, hell, I can keep naming old school people, Woody's Gamertag, right? For all of us OGs, us old COD heads who've been playing, COD since the beginning, you could generally tell these games at the very top play differently than every other game. Right? Black Ops 1 played very differently to Black Ops 2, to Black Ops 3, to Black Ops 4. All of them are maybe Black Ops games. They may be all owned by Treyarch. But these 3 played very different than BO1. And the reason for that is there was no manipulative matchmaking system put in the game. Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 obviously played very different to Ghost and World War II and other Infinity Ward games. Actually, wait, Sledgehammer, I think, made World War III. Either way, you get my point. The games in which IW made previously were very different to the future games. So the first 8 games, we know for a fact, again, from word of mouth, and with how, quite frankly, with how open they were about it, they wouldn't lie. I don't believe they'd lie. I believe this is something, the TSMM system they made was something they were so proud of. They were open to talk about it, which flash forward like 10 years, they would, you know, realize the monster they created, but either way, it doesn't matter. So I knew going into this, the first 8 games, I really didn't have to research and do any, you know, data on, because again, the devs said it themselves, there is no manipulated matchmaking. And then as you can see with the bottom row, the EOMM era, or the Warzone era, as you can call it, that also I didn't have to look into, because in all of these games, we 100% for a fact know there's SBMM, because there's people like X Pro, there's people like Dismo, there's people like Korean Savage, 3 of my favorite people in the world. And if you don't understand sarcasm, then someone will explain that to you in the comments. But these games all have manipulatable matchmaking, and in all of these games, you will see penta nukes, 10 nukes. You will just see the most unbelievable, godly stats against bots. In order for you to get put into a bot lobby, that must mean there's a system that filters good and bad players. If there's a system that filters good and bad players, that's skill-based matchmaking. Essentially, if you want to know if a game has skill-based matchmaking, go check Korean Savage, Dismo, and X Pro. Go check their channels. If they have videos of them dropping quadruple DNA bombs or triple like if they have clips, not even clips, if they have full videos of them just doing like going 700-0, there's a good chance that game has skill-based matchmaking. And the reason why I can basically say that for certainty is because in order for you to abuse something, it has to be there, right? If there was no skill-based matchmaking, these people couldn't abuse the system, but because the system is there, it's being abused. In that previous video, we talked about these games, and I only really had Black Ops 2, Ghost, and AW solved in the previous video. If you don't know, Black Ops 2 is a weighted skill-based matchmaking system predicated on, or throughout this video, I'm going to probably call everything skill-based matchmaking. But for the record, there is technically three different acronyms: TSMM, SBMM, and EOMM. For the sake of this video, I'm probably going to just off the top of my tongue, just instinctually use the wrong letter soup, different abbreviations for different things. Essentially, they're all the same system. TSMM came first, then SBMM became a thing, then they're all evolutions of the same manipulative matchmaking. So if I say something is SBMM during the TSMM era, don't be like, oh, Beastly. It's not that big of a deal. They're essentially, you can interchange the words. It's the same system, just rebranded as a new thing. But in BO2, it was heavily skewed for win-loss. So in BO2, if you wanted to reverse boost in BO2, you would just nuke your win-loss ratio. Another thing I explained in that previous video is that even though terms like reverse boosting, two-boxing, SBM manipulating, all of these things that we use nowadays, it existed back then. We just didn't have a word for it. And the analogy I always like to give is depression. It's going to get a little dark for a moment. Just walk with me. Humans have been depressed since the dawn of time, right? When you have an unbalanced chemical equation in your head, it leads to depression. The word depression and the medical diagnosis of it, it's only like 200 years old. Depression didn't just magically get invented in the last 200 years. Humans have always been depressed. I say always, but you get my point. It didn't just magically become a thing over the last like 200 years. We just found a word for it. So like, I know that was a very, very dark comparison, but you get my point. Just because we didn't have a word to describe reverse boosting, two-boxing, and skill-based matchmaking manipulating, didn't mean it didn't exist in these older games. It did. There were some people in the comments of that other video that were confusing reverse boosting with regular boosting. I guess I could spend a moment of this video to explain the difference. In these older, like the OG games, Modern Warfare 3, boosting in infected lobbies and stuff like that, that is different to reverse boosting, right? Back again with the Modern Warfare 3 example, you would have two friends queue an infection lobby, run to the corner of the map, and because in the old infection lobbies, you would have tac inserts, which I just realized approximately like half the COD players nowadays probably don't know what a tac insert even is. Basically, it was this funny little thing that would let you control where you spawned. It broke the game. Anyways, You could do this funny little thing back in the day, which is just regular boosting, where you and a friend would run to the corner of the map. One of you would be infected, attack insert in the corner, kill him 25 or 20. I forget how many kills was for a Moab, 30, it doesn't matter. You would kill him X amount of times, and then bam, you get your Moab, and there you go. That is very different to reverse boosting, right? Boosting is something friends did to like pad your stats or get a nuke, but it wasn't really that harmful. Reverse boosting is you manipulating the system to exclusively go against the worst players the game has. And typically it's content creators and people with, you know, ego / narcissistic problems, but whole tangent for a different day. Anyways, but yeah, that was essentially how there's a difference, right? You having fun with your buddies, fucking around versus the intent of playing bad players, bullying them, harassing them, abusing them, and then moving on, right? Intent is the key thing. So yeah, BO2 win-loss system heavily skewed. The algorithm they had was very big on win-loss. So if you wanted to, you would just have an account, have a very bad win-loss ratio, play with that account, and your games would be free. Or, like people were doing in my previous video, they were just reverse boosting themselves. They were tanking their win-loss ratio deliberately and then doing it themselves. So whether you did it to your own account or your own stats, or you played with an account that had abysmal stats, 2Boxing was born. So shout out to Black Ops 2 for causing this problem that we now have to suffer through a lot of the time in the modern era. Next comes the lovely game Ghost. Ghost had the identical system to Black Ops 2. It was win-loss ratio. There's not really much more that needs to talk about it. They copied basically the exact same system. However, the third silly little game that released in this series was a game called Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare was really funny because unlike the previous two COD titles that mostly valued win-loss, this title was infamously known for having a crazy weighted skill-based matchmaking system. However, it was not for win-loss, it was for KD. And I could insert the clip of Dismo explaining what a God account is for like the 14th billionth time, but I'm probably not going to do that. But just know there's a funny little clip on Dismo's YouTube channel that's still there to this day where he explains to his chat, which was, I think, like 20 people. This was back when Dismo was really small as a content creator. But he was dropping DNA bomb after DNA bomb after DNA bomb. And people in his chat were like, how are you doing this? And he was like, I have a God account. And essentially what a God account was back in Advanced Warfare, you would have an account that has like 70 million deaths on it. You would have an account that's so negative that it doesn't matter how many kills you get, how many nukes you get, it doesn't matter. You are so negative. And since the game changed the algorithm for this title to prioritize your KD over your win-loss, like the previous two games, it's much easier to manipulate a KD than a win-loss. I understand what the devs were trying to do. People were manipulating the fact that the previous two titles were focused on win-loss, and so they tried to change it up to KD. And like, I get the general concept where it's like good players have a high KD, so you match good players against good players. That way the bad players don't get stomped. I get the general idea. However, like most things in life, just because it works on paper doesn't mean it works in practice. And this is a key example. You had people like Dismo and Korean Savage who had negative a billion accounts. They had God accounts that were so negative that they could just drop nuke after nuke after nuke after nuke, and their KD would still be a 0.0001. Like, it didn't matter what they did. And like, I knew how the first, the system worked for those three games, but where I ended the previous video is I didn't know how the SBMM system worked for BO3, IW, or Infinite Warfare, World War II, and Black Ops 4. Now, I got this comment a billion times in my previous video, and I'm going to explain it, or not really explain, I'm going to address it here. And I'm sure I'm going to get the comment a billion more times because I love the people who just don't listen to the video. A lot of people told me in my previous video, hey, there was skill-based matchmaking here in Advanced Warfare, and there's skill-based matchmaking here in the modern games, but there's no skill-based matchmaking anywhere else. I'm going to address it here. I'm sure I'll say it again a billion times in the comments. But Activision is not a company that just wastes money and does stupid things. Actually, let me rephrase that. They do stupid things all the time. Activision's not a company who does stupid things that will waste them money. They'll do stupid things, but they'll do stupid things that make them money. They don't do stupid things that waste them money. So the fact that people will acknowledge these games have SBMM, this one game has it, but the others don't, is stupid. Why would a company waste time, money, energy, and resources on a system to then only stick it in one COD? This is the thing I never understand from people, and if this is your first time watching me, I appreciate you. And don't get me wrong, there's no such thing as a stupid comment. So if you have or a question, so if you have a comment or a question, leave a comment. But there's a lot of people out there who just blindly say that these old games don't have SBMM. They do. It's, again, stupid to assume that, oh, these games have it, this game had it, so therefore these other games don't. It doesn't make logical sense that only, like, that COD would just randomly throw darts on the wall, like, oh, is BO3 gonna have SBMM? Throws the dart. Oh, it landed on the black, so that means no. Oh, is Infinite Warfare gonna have SBMM? Throws a dart. Oh, it landed on the red. Guess what? SBMM time. That's stupid. If they're gonna create a system, they're going to implement that system everywhere they can. So if it's in one game, and it's in all of these games, it's logically speaking, it's gonna be in others. And that's kind of where this rabbit hunt started. Again, previous video did BO2 Ghost AW. And this video, we will be focusing on BO3, Infinite Warfare, World War II, and Black Ops 4. So if you are still in denial that these old games have SBMM, you're going to really love this video. And if you want to learn a thing or two about the brief history of COD and how things have fucking gone off the rails into fucking crazy town, you will also enjoy this video. So with all the rambling aside, me explaining the timeline and yada, 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 let's get into the first thing, shall we? BO3. Now, the first clip I'm going to show you is 9 years old. I dug this clip up from Carnage Clan, you know, the clan known for reverse boosting, abusing the game to make crazy gameplays. These people, yeah, this video has 8,000 views. So this video is so old. This video was made before Carnage Clan was Carnage Clan. So I find that funny. Another thing is that with these really old videos, you guys can see the best quality I got 720. I'm sorry, I can't make it not blurry. This shit's blurry as fuck to me, so I'm sure after YouTube compresses the video, it's gonna be even more blurry. Sorry about that, not much I can do. But this video was released before BO3 came out. And essentially, Carnage Clan and Drifter, which again, if you don't know who these people are, Drifter is a highly, just a man who's highly respected in the COD community. And I'm not going to spoil the clip, but this was a video that Carnage Clan released before BO3 came out. And essentially, we hear straight from the horse's mouth that BO3 does have a SBMM system, and we even get told what system it's modeled after. So here you go.
That is their skill-based matchmaking, and Drifter was able to confirm it for me. I was able to tweet at him on Twitter. You guys will see the tweet here on screen, and he replies back to me saying that Black Ops 3 skill-based is going to be the exact same way it was in Black Ops 2. So you guys know that Call of Duty events were...
So, I mean, I could cut the clip there. There you go. Drifter had a sit-down with David Vonderhaar. David Vonderhaar was the lead designer for MP for Treyarch from, I believe Vonderhaar was in charge of, I could be wrong, but I believe it was World at War, BO1, BO2, BO3, and I believe Vonderhaar either quit or retired at BO4. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's Cold Over. Either way, this man, Vondi himself, was very well respected in the COD community, and essentially Drifter was tweeting to, as you heard, Carnage, I forget which one this one is, but Carnage guy, will there be SBMM? And straight from the horse's mouth himself, Vonderhaar says it will be exactly like BO2. So for all the people who are still telling me all the evidence and everything I came up with saying BO2 did not have SBMM, you're wrong. In order for BO3 to have an SBMM system of BO2, BO2 would have to have the system. I know, shocker. So, but this is also a good thing. If we do know that the BO3 system is the BO2 system, That means it's weighted very heavily on win-loss. So in future videos where I will show you of an individual who goes 1 billion to 0 and the entire enemy team goes like 9-90 and like 7-88, those like people who are dropping crazy, like I'm talking 0.01 lobbies in BO3, you're going to ask me, hey, Beasley, how do you know he's reverse boosting? For starters, it's not normal to see someone go like 9-84. That's not, I have, in my own life, I've been playing COD for damn near 16 years. I have never been in a lobby where someone goes 9-84. Never seen it. Never. I also don't abuse the, skill-based matchmaking and reverse boost, but either way, there you go. So in order for BO3 to copy BO2, BO2 has to have a system, which we know how that works. That was win-loss. And so BO3 has the same system. So I could stop the clip here, but after finding this clip and listening to it in its entirety, it kind of made me chuckle. So we're going to listen to the rest of this clip, but there you go. We can stop here and move on to the next game, but there you go. BO3 did have a SBMM system. Now, people are going to tell me in the comments, well, it might have had skill-based matchmaking, but it wasn't crazy. Shut up. If there's skill-based matchmaking, therefore that means people can abuse it. If people can abuse it, they can reverse boost. Done. The argument's done. Just acknowledge it.
Black Ops 3 skill base is going to be the exact same way it was in Black Ops 2. So you guys know that Call of Duty Advanced Warfare has some pretty hardcore skill-based matchmaking. There's no variety in the lobbies. If you have good stats, you're going to play against good players 99.100% of the time. It just really does not let you face any sort of variety. I played it on a main account for the longest period of time, for around a good probably month and a half of the game's life cycle before I really got into reverse boosting and trying to find different sort of lobbies.
And this was the moment in which I was like, oh, I'm showing the full clip. So as you guys remember, this was dated 9 years ago. So again, for all of those fucking losers, for all those people who call me names in the comments, who laugh at me for not knowing what I'm talking about, I've been here since the beginning. Don't tell me, oh, reverse boosting is... No. This shit has been a problem since these games has had SBMM. Again, if there's a system that manipulates what players are in the lobby, people will always manipulate the system to make the game easier for them. So for all those people who are, still in denial that, oh, reverse boosting, two-boxing, all of this shit's new. No, the fuck it's not. I've been complaining about this for the last 10 years. Now, mind you, I've only had a YouTube channel for 3 months, but in the community, I've been vocalizing my opinions about this shit for a long time. So yeah, there's not really much more that needs to be said. From Carnage Clan 9 years ago, people reverse boost. And in order for you to reverse boost, there must be a system in which you can manipulate. If you are manipulating a system, that means the system's there. So then the question becomes, how does the system work? The answer is win-loss, but as you'll see moving forward, a lot of games, the SBMM system is win-loss. Not all of them, but most of them is win-loss. So again, when you have people who figure out how it works, it's not that hard to abuse.
Good probably month and a half of the game's life cycle before I really got into reverse boosting and trying to find different sort of lobbies, and I did not find bad players by any means. The only way I was actually able to get DNA bombs or anything like that was to be able to roll in a party of like 2 to 3 people, all as running system hacks UAVs, and be able to, just kind of use that off of each other. Playing solo was absolutely just terrible, and you cannot really do anything with it. If you rewind back into Black Ops 2, you have skill-based matchmaking, and that is in the game. There's no question about it. But, I was rolling on my main account last night. I played from like 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. Just the first time I got to play in a long time, and so I went on there, played on my main account, 2.5 KD, like max prestige and everything. I had, diamond weapons, everything like that. This is the account you would expect to get the most tryhards on. I had DLC and everything on, and I was finding noobs. I was finding people that were bad. I was finding people that were good. I found a variety of people, and that was what was really nice to me, is that I just want to get that feeling again. I want to be able to go into a lobby. I want to be able to have fun on my main account. I don't want to have separate accounts. I don't want to have to make 5 to 6 other accounts with random names to be able to just enjoy my...
Hey guys, where have we heard that one before? Actually, you know what? I wasn't going to include this in this video, but I'm going to do it because it's fucking hilarious. So this is a funny little video from a funny little clown by the name of Korean Savage. As you just heard from Carnage, I forget which one it is, Carnage guy, 9 years ago, he talked about he's tired of having 5, 6, 7, 8 extra accounts and having to reverse boost to get bot lobbies for videos on YouTube. And for all the people who, I will always make fun of this clown, by the way, for the record. Like, he is just atrocious for the community, and I will always make fun of him every opportunity I get. As you can see, tactical nuke with VMP meta on BO6. The Korean Savage always, I don't know if he edits his own videos, but he always hides his, like, so much of his screens. He hides. This video from like 8 or so days ago, 8, 9 days ago, he forgot to hide his screen, and after he got out of a lobby, I'm not sure if you guys have noticed it yet, but just in case for the people in the back of the classroom who haven't seen it yet, on his friends list, he has a level 13 named Alabama and a level 14 name announced. Now, you're going to see why this is super funny during the World War II video, because we'll eventually get there. But there's a green dot next to their names. Now, I was talking with my chat, shout out to all of you guys who pulled up to the stream at the time of the day of me recording this video. But I don't know if that green dot means they're online and those accounts are being used, or if that green dot means like they're in a party. I don't know. But either way, this clown forgot to hide his screen, and there you go. Alabama 13, announced 14. They're, as you can see from the icons next to them, they are PlayStations. So he has on his friends list 2 bot accounts. One's a 13, one's a 14. And there's really no moral justification you can have for having these bot accounts on your friends list besides one reason and one reason only. You play with them a lot. So to invite them to the lobby to make the bot account even easier to access, you add them to your friends list. Now, for the one Korean Savage dick rider that's in every one of my videos, Beastly, what if they're real people who just suck? He has like 4 or 5 videos, and you can see them. So these accounts haven't gained an XP in months. So you can come up with any mental gymnastics you want to justify why he has a level 13 and 14 account on his friends list, but he's reverse boosting. Now, I don't have to explain this to most of my audience because you guys are smart, but for the new people who watch this video and don't know, this clown has been reverse boosting basically for the last 10, 11 years. This Cancer, the Korean Savage, and Dismo, these two are the reason why everybody and their mom reverse boosts, post penta-nuke gameplays every day, and generally why the community's in the atrocious state it is. These people have been making essentially cancerous videos, ruining the community and doing all sorts of unhealthy things for so long that now it's become the new, the new trend. But yeah, this shit cracked me up because when I was listening to the Carnage video, the guy was complaining about, man, I'm tired of maintaining 5 bot accounts 9 years ago. 9 years ago. And you think these people don't do it now where everything's cranked up to 1 million? Another really funny thing to point out is he also has Mark of Hero on his friends list. If you don't know, Mark of Hero has been, reverse boosting for the last like 5 years. And he was one of the weirdos who like hid his screen. And people would all the time in the comments of my videos and the Rick's videos and a lot of other people's videos, Mark of Hero is hiding his screen because he doesn't want to get stream sniped. It's like, you're an idiot. You don't know. There's a thing called stream delay. There's ways you can make it harder to get stream sniped besides hiding your screen. So yeah, it's funny that one clown is friends with another clown, and these 2 clowns both have bot accounts on their friends list. There's so many clowns in this community. They could stop posting COD videos and do full-time circus acts, and people would probably still pay for that shit. I know I would. Like, this is just comedy, man. But yeah, the Carnage comment made me think of this moment, and this video is going to be in a future video, but I'll put it here.
main account. I don't want to have separate accounts. I don't want to have to make 5 to 6 other accounts with random names to be able to just enjoy myself within the game. Some people may say that, oh, you shouldn't have to reverse boost or nothing like that. But for a pub stomper, the way we get our gameplays is we play against bad players. And that is the only way we can really get those gameplays. Not saying we're not good players, but you can't drop, you know, 100, 200 plus on guys that are as equal skill level as you. So this is something that I'm pretty psyched about, is if it's going to be the same way it is in Black Ops 2, there's an easy way just to have fun without even having to do anything. You can just log on, play the game. You don't have to have multiple accounts and worry about getting banned and everything like that. So I hope this does show you guys.
One last comment I'll point out here in Carnage's video. He was playing BO2 after the fact. And when there's... Okay. So most of the sweaty tryhards are always on the newest COD game. So for example, to put this in like modern terms, most sweaty tryhards are on BO6. So if you went back to play Modern Warfare 3 Reimagined, the game that came out 2 years ago, of course it's going to feel like there's random skill-based matchmaking and the lobbies are random. It's because most of the players aren't playing that old game. So his little comment about like, man, I love playing BO2 because I can hop on and get random games. That's because he's not, as you can see, the Advanced Warfare gameplay, he's not playing BO2 when BO2 was popping. If he was playing BO2 when BO2 was the active game, he wouldn't have said that statement. So, but yeah, no, this video, Drifter, Vondahar, Carnage Clan, these 3 very popular, famous people in the community, there you go. It had the same system as BO2 did, and we know for a fact BO2's was weighted with win-loss. So there you go. There's not much more that needs to be said. So then next on our fun little train, we have Infinite Warfare. Now, I will have one caveat for Infinite Warfare, and you guys are going to see this in a moment. So I have one caveat for Infinite Warfare, and unfortunately, this is the caveat. This one, I have the least amount of evidence. I went and watched Drifter's video. I went and watched Exclusive Ace's video. This was at a point in time where the COD devs stopped talking about SBMM. So if you're wondering why, like, we had this stretch of time where the devs were open about the system and openly talked about it, and then they just stopped, it was because essentially this was starting to hinder the product. And so the devs were, you know, signed under NDAs. So there's like a brief history in COD where just no one talked about it, and we're about to enter that history. So as much as I would like to play a video and have quotes from like the devs and you know, all that fun jazz, we're kind of at the point in the COD timeline where the stuff we find from this point onward is through us experimenting on stuff and just general, you know, the community doing it. At this point, the devs just went full quiet mode and didn't talk about it. And as you guys can see from the screen, this is not the first time I've had the screenshot on my channel, but this screenshot is a message that was given to players during the beta of Infinite Warfare. We've introduced a new matchmaking system into Infinite Warfare designed to provide the highest quality matches possible, and the beta is our chance to stress test. We've been looking forward to the beta because changes such as these require players' data at a scale in order to truly optimize the system. So unfortunately, that was about the best you got, or the best I could find. That's an official statement from the people who made the game. During the beta, they fucked with matchmaking with they specifically called it a brand new system. And so again, using basic logic, these games had it, this game had it, this game had it, this game had it, and we know this game had it. So logically speaking, Infinite Warfare had to also have SBMM. Now here's the thing. This is the only game where I don't know what the weighted scale was. I am going to assume it's win-loss again, because BO2 was win-loss, Ghost was win-loss, BO3 was win-loss, and Advanced Warfare was KD. Now, again, I don't have, this is the one game where I don't have like the strongest stuff for, but essentially we know from the beta message that they put a new system in the game. This new system, again, basic concept, this company wouldn't waste time, money, energy, and resources to try something and then throw it away. How many betas, or how many times have you heard the COD devs tell the community, we're trying this, but like in reality, they're not trying it. They're essentially doing the thing where they're testing the waters. They're seeing how people engage with it, right? Like, great example, Cold War's beta. There was almost no difference between Cold War's beta and the Cold War game. When Cold War launched and the beta, they were pretty much the exact same games. A couple guns and small tweaks, but for the most part, the games were the exact same. Vanguard, I believe Vanguard, maybe it was Modern Warfare 2. I forget which one of these garbage games it was, but they had a beta, and the beta hardly changed anything. So you can call them betas, you can call them early access, you can call it whatever bullshit you want. The devs don't really change much from the early concepts of the game to when the game launches. So for all the people who are going to be like in the comments of this video, well, Beastly, the only proof you have is that the other games have it, and this game, they talk about adding a new system, aka skill-based matchmaking, but you don't know. And it's like, yeah, I technically don't know, but again, World War II has it, Black Ops 4 has it, BO3 has it, Advanced Warfare has it, Ghost has it, and BO2 has it. It would be extremely idiotic to assume IW was the only game in this timeline that didn't have it. And you heard from the devs themselves, they added a system. We don't know what that system was, but they added a system. So whether that system was win-loss, I don't think it was KD based, but it might have been KD. I doubt it, but it might have been. More than likely, it probably was like maybe score per minute based. Obviously, I don't know. This is the one game where there's like a question mark there where I don't really have solid evidence of how the system works, but I have proof that there is a system. So I believe it was probably win-loss like the previous 4 games and the next 2 games, but this is the one game where the best I got is a tweet. So there you go. And also, this was stripped and pulled straight from the game. It was on the menu, not the menu. It was on a pop-up that popped up when you played the game. So again, this is an official thing. Shout out Charlie Intel for the screenshot. This is the only person who I could find that still had the screenshot all these years later. But yeah, there was a system, as you can see, a matchmaking algorithmic system. I don't know what it was. I didn't play Infinite Warfare, so I can't even use my own anecdotal, personal experience. I have no idea. I think it was probably win-loss because everything else seems to be win-loss. I doubt it was KD, but theoretically it could have been KD. It could have been score per minute. It could have been a lot of factors. But either way, there was a weighted system in this game. And again, if you go to the Korean Savage, if you go to Dismo, if you go to X Pro, all these, reverse boosters, they have videos of them dropping, 5 nukes in a game, 10 nukes in a game. The devs are telling you there's a system in the game, and there's people who are manipulating the system like the Carnage Clan and like these reverse boosters. So in order for you to reverse boost, there must be a system to manipulate. Again, I don't know what that system was. I don't know the equation. Again, gun to my head and I have to pick an answer. I'm probably going to do win-loss like every other game, but I don't know. But yeah, that was Infinite Warfare. Next to COD World War II.
And maybe other Call of Duty games have some kind of hidden MMR system, some sort of rating that we can't really see, at least not visually to the player, that it matches people based on. One thing that I want to be super clear about is that it does not have any correlation with kill-death ratio, score per minute, and is super definitely not based on level, on prestiges, on how high a prestige.
So if I'm going to have all these videos, by the way, if you want to watch them in their entirety, I will have them like I always do linked in the description. But in this video, he's talking about World War II, where Drifter had $1,000. Drifter put $1,000 bet saying you can't prove their skill-based matchmaking in World War II. And spoiler alert, if you watch my previous video, a guy does. So Drifter lost $1,000. Drifter's a man of his word. And again, he's a very respected person in the COD community. And this was a video he made for World War II. And kind of like what he just said, from their testing, it is not KD based, it is not account level based, but you would never guess what stat ends up being the most important stat. You guys could never guess. It's kind of funny. So yeah.
Ratio, score per minute, and is super definitely not based on level, on prestiges, on how high a prestige or grandmaster or master prestige you are. That doesn't seem to matter. Yes, there is a protection bracket. If you have a truly new account and you're a truly new player, your first couple games will be with lower level players, but once you're breaking out of like level 10 or 12, you're done with that permanently.
So Drifter just said this system in World War II is not score per minute based. It's not accuracy based. It's not KD based. And it's not level based. So what stat did they use to weigh the algorithmic system in this game? I think we all know where this is going. I'm going to play the clip out just so you can hear all of it. But also keep in mind, did you hear what he just said about baby accounts, fresh accounts? He said approximately around level 10 to level 12. Accounts go from this protected bracket accounts to the open pool accounts where they're mixed with other, accounts. Notice how Korean Savage and Seabass and Paradox and, Korean Savage, notice how when all of them reverse boost, whether it's one apple, two bear, whether it's, Alabama, whether it's announced, and I can keep naming bot accounts, but do you guys ever notice that they're always no prestige level like 10, 12, 13, 14? It's almost like they know around when the level cap hits too high and they're no longer considered bot accounts or baby accounts. And so they make sure to keep those accounts at those levels. I'm going to rewind it just so you guys can hear Drifter repeat himself, but there's a correlation between all of these people who reverse boost. All of their bot accounts are always around level 10, level 12, level 13. And turns out when your account reaches approximately that level, you leave the protected bracket at lobbies. Hence why all of these clowns always keep their bot lobbies that low level. That's why. They want to stay in, they want to be able to access those baby lobbies, those protected bracket lobbies as much as they can. Hence why they always keep those levels just so coincidentally all around the same level, which is about level 12, 13, 14. Kind of funny how that works.
Doesn't seem to matter. Yes, there is a protection bracket. If you have a truly new account and you're a truly new player, your first couple games will be with lower level players, but once you're breaking out of like level 10 or 12, you're done with that permanently, and there is pretty much no skill matching on level or kill death ratio. However, in Robert's study, we did find a stronger matching on win-loss ratio.
Would you look at that? They found no correlation between KD, score per minute, account level, nothing. But would you look at that? They found a direct correlation between wins and losses. Crazy. Crazy. You mean the system they've been using for the last 5 games is also in this game? Wow. Crazy. Fucking crazy.
However, in Robert's study, we did find a stronger matching on win-loss ratio. It's a much better predictor of lobby difficulty, or at least a much better predictor on who you're going to get matched on. It seems that the higher your win-loss ratio, the more likely you are to match with other people that also have high win-loss ratios.
So there you go. Obviously, with Infinite Warfare and World War II, again, this was the era in which the devs didn't talk about the system. So we're kind of just going based off of testing the community does, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, so you're telling me the system they've been using for BO2, Ghosts, BO3, and Infinite Warfare is the same system in World War II. I'm shocked. I'm shocked it's another game based off win-loss. Which again, like I always am going to keep saying in this video, if you want to know if there's something there that's being manipulated, you find people who can manipulate it. World War II was one of the worst games in terms of reverse boosting since Advanced Warfare. If you go to Korean Savage's and Dismo's YouTube channel, you can find like diabolical games, like 5v2 rockets in a game, like just insane shit. Hell, there's a video I'm pretty sure where it was him, Swag, and Korean Savage, and all 3 of them nuked the lobby. Like, this, in order for you to reverse boost, there must be a system to abuse, hence why they're reverse boosting. And we know from Drifters and Robert's tests, the system really only cares about win-loss, which is ironic because, like, the last 4 or 5 games have been win-loss. So, there you go. If you're keeping track, BO2 is win-loss based, Ghost is win-loss based, AW is kills based, BO3 is win-loss based. Infinite Warfare is win-loss based. And then, or actually, we don't know about Infinite Warfare, but I would probably assume it's win-loss. And then World War II is we know win-loss. So at this point, all I had to do was figure out what BO4's was. And I would argue, even though we don't have any direct evidence from the devs' mouth, like these last two games, you got to kind of see the pattern. It's not like the pattern is there. Next is BO4. Now for BO4, we're going to have a couple different videos, because again, this was around the time period where COD kind of shut their mouth about talking about the system. So all we can really do is go based off of our own studies, our own tests, and generally stuff like that. I wish the devs would talk about it like they used to, but again, there was a brief period of time where they just didn't say shit. And if you guys have watched my Bradders Exposed videos, you've seen this clip before. But Bradders, at the point of him recording this video, he's the literal biggest loser in the world. Right? At this point in time in BO4, he had 656 losses. He was literally the biggest loser in the world at this point in time in BO4. If you look at other videos about BO4 and the skill-based matchmaking system, what you'll notice is players like 402 Thunder, love the guy, he can't stand BO4 because he's constantly playing sweaty players having miserable games. Nero Cinema, love the guy, had sweaty games and hated BO4. Whereas people like Dismo, Korean Savage, X-Pro, this clown, Bradders, they love BO4. And what you'll notice with a very, again, correlation, all of the people like 402 Thunder and Nero and everyone else, all of the people who had accounts where they were trying to win constantly, they hated the game. And the people who were like Bradders, just tanking their win-loss ratio, enjoyed the game. And, you know, Bradders and, you know, I can keep naming reverse boosters, but these people would post crazy gameplays. Again, in order for them to reverse boost, there must be a system to abuse. If there's a system to abuse, what's the system? You're kind of solving it backwards. You know the end of the story, now you got to put the pieces together to find the beginning. Again, the previous games have been win-loss based. Both officially and unofficially, they were win-loss based. Yeah, Advanced Warfare was KD based. But the correlation for BO4, anyone who tried to win every game they could and had a crazy high win-loss ratio without reverse boosting, without abusing, you know, the skill-based matchmaking, they had miserable times. Whereas everyone else who had an average win-loss ratio or an abysmal win-loss ratio, they loved the game. So that's the correlation. Just like the previous games, this game is also win-loss. Furthermore, it just kind of makes sense. Treyarch in BO2, which invented this system, used a win-loss heavy equation. In BO3, they copied that equation. They copied that system to be win-loss based again. So it just makes sense that BO4 would also be win-loss based. And so there you go. That's kind of the rest of the systems. That's kind of the rest there is. That's like, I guess you could say, the entire history of SBMM, both as a system and people manipulating it. The mystery hunt, the riddles, if you will, ends with BO4, because obviously we know from Black Ops 6 to Modern Warfare 2019, they do have an EOMM system where it's not just one stat, it's many, right? If you're reverse boosting in these modern games, you need a bunch of bad stats. You need bad accuracy, you need bad win-loss, bad KD, bad score per minute. You need so many bad stats. But in these older titles, you didn't need a bunch of bad stats. You just needed one bad stat. And for most of these games, win-loss, win-loss, probably win-loss, win-loss, KD, win-loss, win-loss. So there you go. That's kind of the entire history of COD. The matchmaking history, I guess, is a better way I could word it. Let me know in the comments if any of this surprised you. Let me know if, just let me know your opinions about all this. Obviously, I had much better proof for BO2, BO3, Advanced Warfare, and Ghost. I'm aware I had exact quotes from the devs. I had a lot more official sources. But the problem is Infinite Warfare, World War II, and BO3, or BO4, excuse me, the devs just stopped talking about it. They were not allowed to talk about it. And if I'm being honest, I don't even think the devs talked about it in Modern Warfare 2019 or Cold War. I think, if I remember correctly, around either Vanguard or Cold War, the end of Cold War and the beginning of Vanguard, YouTubers got exposed for reverse boosting, and it was so bad that essentially all of them came out to say they were reverse boosting. I know a lot of people made videos essentially making apology videos for reverse boosting, and that forced COD to be like, shit, if these people are admitting they're reverse boosting, the next follow-up question is, well, what is the system if they're able to abuse it? And like I did, working backwards for all the other games, there you go. But yeah, I would like to have better sources like I did the other 4 games, but it's the best we got. I don't work for Activision. I probably never will. They probably hate my guts given how much I talk shit about this game. But there you go. That is the complete history of skill-based matchmaking. And yes, if you are confused at anything in this video, drop a comment. I will respond. If you did not watch the first video, I will have it at the end card for this video. And yeah, guys, this was fun. And I can't wait to read the comments and make more content for you guys. So as always, I hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, night, afternoon, day, or whatever time you watch my content in the future. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Draw me a follow/sub on Twitch. I'd greatly appreciate that. And as always, guys, I'll see you when I see you. Deuces.